It's like that program, Start the Week. I can't start the week without you.
And he's rich and famous, so he
calling
calls it
it
the
the
people. Gilby calls Diana darling 14 times and Squidgy 53 times. I can't come into work today. I've got to line up at 10 a.m. for the Tampon Gate phone booth.
I meant to say panic attack in some podcasts, and what does that say?
That's dark.
Ahoy! Welcome back to Girl Historians.
I'm Carly.
I'm Blair.
And welcome to the comedy podcast where we're girls and we talk about history.
And we're doing our mini-series on Lady Diana Spencer, Princess Diana, the People's Princess, the girl of all girls, the girl to end all girls, frankly.
Yes.
And today I'm obsessed with, I'm soaking wet, quite frankly.
Let's talk about this. So I was working at a cafe and Blair's like, I'm on my way. We're coming to record the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, well, come meet me at this cafe and then we'll just like walk together.
Mm-hmm.
And then the sky opened up and poured. And on the walk, truly a 10-minute walk back to my house, like we both got drenched.
Yeah.
Blair is sitting on a towel
Yeah.
on my couch as if we're doing kind of like a sleepover after a pool day.
Yeah. I feel like I've been to the pool.
Yeah, and my parents were like, "Well, you can just sleep, but sit on the couch.
Just like sit on the towel.
Sit on the towel.
Sit on the
girl."
towel.
You know.
But yeah, I'm having this. My shorts are drying a lot faster than my shirts.
Because of the
so I'm
linen.
just like, because of the linen, because I'm wearing a breathable fabric.
Yes.
I did that. I should have worn wool and denim. Like I'm
soaking.
I'm so made for winter fashions. I'm not made for this kind of light, airy fabric situation.
I love summer so much because all I do is basically wear different combinations of white tank tops. Like that's really what I want. That's where I want to be.
That's a good look.
So I do feel as though I'm not made for winter because if we've talked about this before, that I'm allergic to wool.
Yes.
And you think that you're allergic to wool, maybe.
Well, I think you got in my head about being allergic to wool. Where now I'm like,
Gaslight you.
surely there's bugs in the fabric.
Okay, let me open my rain.
Oh yeah, we're drinking Reigns because the convenience store near my house is out of Celsius.
I know. I'm actually gonna see how much
nightmare.
caffeine is in this. Like, is this gonna kill me?
No, you're fine.
How much caffeine is in a Celsius?
I don't know.
You're like, fucking drink it.
I don't know. Drink it. I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
You die.
Oh, dude, I flossed in the back of my mouth last night. You know, when you dislodge something that was really stuck in the back there and you feel the aftershocks. Not
It's like
cute.
you're missing a part of it.
Oh, this doesn't have that much caffeine.
No, I feel like it's more of like a supplement drink. They're doing these supplement drinks now where they just have a bunch of vitamins and then the vitamins are what make you feel crazy,
Yeah, which is fine.
which I do like.
Yeah, okay. Let me just open this.
Okay,
I
have
have
fun.
a lot of this or I won't be able to sleep at all.
I know. Whenever I have a coffee past 4 p.m., I'm like, that's
like
it. We're done.
5 p.m. That's crazy.
I know
of
we're
me to
recording
do
really.
this.
We don't usually record this late. Today is a weird one because I go to Newfoundland tomorrow.
Welcome to the rock. If you come from away, you probably understand about a half of what we say. They say no man's an island, but an island makes a man, especially when one comes from one like Newfoundland. So that's where Blair's going.
Gotta be my favorite musical. Gotta be honest.
Really, that's what our friend Griffin, his partner,
out.
his partner like works for like Mirvish, the Broadway musical kind of
Yes.
company here. So he sees all these musicals. He doesn't even really like musicals, but he always sees them with his partner on opening night. And he says that Come From Away is his favorite.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's just like a perfectly done musical. First of all, it's like 90 minutes long, no intermission.
It's a very good modern
Perfect.
musical.
It's so good. And the story's so touching. The songs are so good. They do all these little dances. It's just great.
I like when they sing Heave Away, which is already just kind of like a little shanty that we all kind of know.
Yeah.
And I love that song.
I also like they give the female pilot this song about being a strong woman.
Me in the Sky.
Me in the sky.
Well,
Gotta
of course,
be.
Me in the Sky.
Oh, well, of course it's Me in the Sky.
I'm obviously like knee deep in any kind of Broadway influencer. Like I'm just truly addicted to musical theater influencers at their core.
yeah.
And there's one that like she just like lives in LA and she was like, I love Come From Away. And I'm like, that's so crazy because
iconic.
like it's from Sheridan, the university here.
Yeah.
And like we know people in like the original cast that like didn't transfer to Broadway.
Yeah.
Which is kind of insane.
It's crazy. I saw it on Broadway. Also, I saw it. The guy who wrote Come From Away, the guy, I forget his name, but he wrote another musical years ago called My Mother's Lesbian Jewish Wiccan Wedding.
Kind of love that.
It was iconic. And my dad and I heard it on a radio ad and we were like, we have to go see this.
Yes.
We bought tickets, went to this, and like he was in the cast.
Love.
And then we bought the cast album.
Oh.
And then so I have this cast album from when I was like a kid and went to this show. And then one of the women on the cast album became the artistic director of Theatre Kingston.
So there's a lot going on there.
There's
I
a
would
lot
love to listen to that cast album.
there. I'll pop it on.
Okay, I would love to listen to that.
It goes, there's one song called Don't Take Your Lesbian Moms and Your Brand New Girlfriends to Hooters.
That's fun.
It's really fun.
That's fun.
But yeah, so I'm pretty excited to go to Newfoundland. I'm also like, I'm running away from the province, quite frankly.
Yeah, we had a talk before when we were literally sitting in this cafe by my house. I can't tell you what the name of it is because just to say that is to dox myself.
It's a Starbucks.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I don't want to say anything. I'm like, it's no other reason. No other reason.
It's because it's really niche.
Yeah, it's really niche.
It's really underground.
The boycott has no effect on me.
No.
First of all, they were playing like jazz and it was raining outside and it like literally felt like we were in a noir.
It really did.
Like it felt like that, or like at the very beginning of Animal Crossing when they're in like the cab and it's like actually, okay, wait,
that was really good. Oh my god, I didn't know you could do that.
I didn't either. That's good. Okay. Oh,
this is how we should do a whole episode like that.
Yeah.
We should do the history of Animal Crossing. We just go.
I would love to do kind of a history of video games that I like.
I'd be down. I don't like next to nothing about video games.
Yeah, we would just talk about Pokemon, Animal Crossing, and Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
The trifecta.
Yeah.
But
perfect.
So it's like noir, and we're both just basically talking about how like this week has eaten us up, chewed us up, spit us out. Like we feel rough, and that's okay. Like the difference in mood, I feel like, and we're both fine, but like the difference in like where we're at emotionally from the last part of this episode.
Yeah.
To now.
You think we're happier?
Yeah. Well, I think we were like more kind of avoiding.
Oh yeah, that's
the truth of the scenario.
That's true. I think I actually am mentally better this episode than the last episode, especially because the last episode I wore a stupid outfit.
What happened? What outfit did you wear?
What happened? No, I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Like you wore a stupid outfit.
I know. I
were
wore
going
a normal
to work,
outfit.
so you were pretty
I was going
upset.
to work, so I was going pretty upset. No, I've just skipped a whole chapter in my brain.
That's okay.
Yeah, I completely forget what's going on.
That's
Sometimes
okay.
you're doing really well. Sometimes you're doing really bad, and then you say, "No, don't worry, I'm doing really well." Then you reference something that didn't happen.
I love
and
that.
That's what I just did.
That's actually great. We're in a state. It's not bad. Like it's hard to explain. Like I'm fine. Like don't feel bad for me. I'm not like actually in a bad spot, but I'm just kind of like, what is happening? Like what is my life?
Yeah,
I can't fathom it. I can't.
I was telling you earlier, but I've truly drank like every night for the last 8 days.
Which we'll do that.
Which we'll do that. Like it's not good. The vibes are frankly off.
Yeah.
They're a little bit strange, but like I think we're both gonna come out of this really powerful.
It feels like we're gearing up to level up.
It feels
to reference Pokemon, it feels like we're evolving.
It does. And
we're going from Nidoran to whatever.
Charizard to Charmander.
No, that would be bad because Charizard's the final form and Charmander's the beginning form.
Okay.
That's my version of Frankenstein is actually the doctor.
Frankenstein is actually the doctor. Okay.
And Charmander's actually the starter Pokemon.
Okay.
So you sound really insane right now because Charizard's actually like a big dragon.
I'm Squirtle, actually. I'm Squirtle.
You are, honestly, you are fucking Squirtle.
I know.
And I'm Bulbasaur.
Love Squirtle.
Let's talk about
Bulbasaur. Okay.
I love Bulbasaur.
You're Bulbasaur. I'm Squirtle. I don't know if you know a Charmander then. Definitely not on this
Charmanders
podcast.
have attitude.
Yeah. Maybe Ben Sosa, right?
Ben Sosa writes Charmander.
Yeah, I think
and
it's
Tim is
Charmander.
Pikachu.
Tim is Pikachu. Tim looks like Pikachu.
Yeah, and nobody wants to talk about
no
how
one
our
wants to talk
friend
about it.
And comedian Tim Blair looks like
Pikachu.
Pikachu.
Like Pikachu. If you want to Google Tim Blair and tell us if you agree that he looks like Pikachu.
In vibe. There's a vibe.
It's a vibe. It's a vibe, but also I think because
obviously he's not yellow. He's not a yellow mouse.
No, he's not a yellow mouse. He's not a yellow mouse, but he kind of looks like a yellow mouse.
He could be.
He kind of looks like he could be a yellow mouse.
Exactly.
Do you ever see your friends and you're just like, you inexplicably look like this cartoon character?
No, but I don't really like cartoons that much.
No, I don't like adult cartoons. I only like
they
kids
make me
cartoons.
feel strange.
And I wish I did because I really feel like I would fuck with BoJack Horseman and I can't
you would fuck
get
with
into it.
BoJack Horseman.
I know, and I struggle with it so much.
Yeah, there's something about like cartoon sex scenes that I'm like, what are we doing here? I did really like Bob's Burgers when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And I think that show is very, very funny.
Yeah.
But I also think that benefits from the fact that it's kind of like it's like an adult show, but it's kind of a family show. Like I don't want to see a cartoon like get a blowjob. I'm sorry.
No.
Like that's just my truth.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm opening up my Kinder bar that Blair brought me.
Yeah.
It's not an episode of Girl Historians if we're not eating candy.
It's fun to eat candy. I kind of get jealous of people that are really into gummy candies because I've never really been into gummy candies. And I get really jealous. Like, I think there's something about buying like a large pack of sour keys and eating 25 of them that I'll never really get to understand that type of joy.
Sorry, my tongue was stuck to the roof of my mouth like a dog eating peanut butter. Did you ever watch The Click or read the Click books?
No, I'm
It's like
sorry.
Click. Like it's like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I know of them. I remember the covers were like I remember
It'll be like plaid and then like a little kind of
Yes.
image of girls.
like a
Oh,
girl.
those books, man, like books like The Click. I feel so lucky to be raised in a time in which like books for kids were like fun and like
Yes.
YA and tweens and stuff like that. Like, you know, like I had The Hunger Games, I had Harry Potter, I had The Click, Gossip Girl. Like books were entertainment, which I feel like is a really good thing to slot them in your brain.
Absolutely.
As opposed to it feels like even like 10 years before. Like it still existed, but it was the Mecca, you know what I mean? It was like a real renaissance.
They don't do it like that anymore.
No.
What were the books with the Barbie dolls on the cover?
That was Pretty Little Liars, my love.
Oh, is that Pretty Little Liars?
Yes. Because then it'd be like twisted.
Did I read one of those then?
Probably. Those books rocked. The
I read
books
a
are, I
bunch of
love
the
the
Gossip
show.
Girls.
But the books, the reason why the first show is, the first like reveal of the show at the end of season 2 is so good is because it's the reveal from the book.
Oh,
So there's nothing better than a mystery that actually delivers upon a reveal that's genuinely kind of shocking but makes sense. And then they lose it later on because they're going away from the books because they wanted it to be a surprise, right? Like they didn't want people to just be able to read the books and get ahead.
Yeah.
But I think that's a disservice because then it becomes more random as opposed to, because they kept trying to just like change it so that it was not, you couldn't guess who it was, as opposed to being like, no, like in a good mystery, the reason like Sherlock Holmes is fun or the Agatha Christie books are fun is like you are presented with all the same information as like a detective in that case.
Yeah.
And if you properly analyze the information, you can figure
Then
it
you can
out.
figure it out, yeah.
Yes. And the books are like that. Like the books aren't great. They're not, you know what I mean? We're not,
Yeah.
it's not Hounds of the Baskervilles, but like they're,
But basically almost
but it
equal
makes
to that.
sense. Like they have to answer for
Yeah.
things that are presented where later in the show they don't really. So like the mysteries aren't cohesive because they value a shocking reveal over a reveal that makes sense.
Yeah.
And
Which
even
is
though
irritating.
in the books the reveal doesn't even really make that much sense. Like I'm gonna skip ahead 5 minutes or whatever if you don't want to hear what it is. But it's
Okay.
like twins. So it's like Allie has a twin who's in like the asylum, and the reason why Allie has such a duplicitous personality and is like a two-faced bitch is because it's her twin. So I
Whoa.
don't remember which one exactly, but one is really nice and one is really mean.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, but Allie would be like so nice, and like one of them had like kind of like a lesbian thing going on with them and whatever, right?
Yeah.
But then they'd also be like, but then she'd like collect our secrets and like be so fucking mean to us, and it's because it was like the
It was
twins.
the twin. It was both of them.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's good.
So like the person Allie had gone missing because she's hiding, I believe, or maybe she did die. I don't remember.
Okay.
Because I get the show in the books mixed out, but like if she actually died or not in the books, but like because the twin was trying to kill her.
That's kind of sick.
Like, and that
kinda like that.
rocks. Like, it is again. It's not like, oh my god, that makes so much fucking sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, you think it's
like, oh my
twin,
God, it's amazing.
But like, again, the clues were there, so you can get to it.
I love a good twist though. Like nothing gets me like a good twist.
Oh.
I wish I could figure out how to write a good twist.
I know.
Like,
I know.
How do you?
I think
how
it's
do you
just-
think of that?
I think it's like one of those things that the thing is, it's not, it's obvious to you, but it's not to the reader, right? So it's not
Yeah.
going to feel like a twist to you in the same way because
Yes.
the goal is to have the twist be there and then reverse engineer the moments before them. So then that thing, although inevitable to you,
Yeah.
doesn't feel that way.
Oh,
It's hard though. But
that's
people who write for plot
really
I've,
smart.
I've been talking about this. I think we talked about this on the Patreon exclusive where we were talking about books.
Mm-hmm.
But after I finished The Interestings by Meg Wolitzer, which is a 600-page book, and loving it, but Jesus, long books are tough for me.
It's
So I'm like, I feel like
hard.
we've done it.
Yeah.
I've done my time with these characters. I love the
Yes.
book, but it's long.
Yes.
But I'm going to read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which is like a teen solving mystery.
Oh, I love
The
that.
show is coming out on Netflix, and I just I'm so excited to read it because I just love when a teen solves a mystery.
It's so good. It's just fabulous.
I'm sorry, like I was raised on PLL.
Yeah.
I'm addicted. Like I just want a girl in like a I can't say cunt. Let me say that. We get demonetized.
We get demonetized when we say. I was gonna say the biggest twist that ever got me was the first time I watched The Sixth Sense. I think that was
I See
like
Dead People?
The I See Dead People when like Bruce Willis was dead the whole time.
Yeah.
That got me as a
I
kid.
unfortunately obviously watched that like last year, so I you know cultural clues.
You're like, I've
got
got
to me.
it. I've got it.
The Pretty Little Liars twists were big for me. I'm trying to think of what other twists like just rocked my body. Like, what are iconic kind of twists and
I remember
media?
like this is what?
I was gonna say Peter Pettigrew being the fucking rat.
I literally was gonna
Yes.
say Peter Pettigrew. Because
Like
also
that
like as a kid
shook
reading Harry
me.
Potter, like the twists were crazy.
Crazy.
Also, I do remember, and I hate to like, and again, like Harry Potter.
J.K. Rowling can actually kick rocks.
Yeah, this is J.K. Rowling has done like just horrible things. Harry Potter was extremely iconic for a lot of people, just to preface this. But like that chapter, the end of Deathly Hallows, when it was revealed that Snape was in love with Lily the whole time, my damn jaw was on the floor. I was like, this just recontextualizes everything that I've spent my entire childhood reading about.
Yeah.
Crazy. Whether
Crazy.
or not you think like there's a lot to be said about that plot line, let's be so honest about whether or not it's a good thing. And it was framed as love. Don't know if it was. But like, man, that was so good. That was crazy.
I mean, I have beef with that plot line because
No, and you should. I don't think it's really like a good plot line.
But this is like what I'll call the little lifeification of so many of my opinions. In that I don't have an issue. My issue with the text itself is not as big as what it becomes when how people interpret it is.
Yes.
Where it's like I read A Little Life and I was like, this is trauma porn and like, it's fine. Like is it beautifully written? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I agree with the message that some people just don't get better? No. I think that's fucking crazy.
Yeah. I still
Also,
haven't read
there's
it.
like
I'm too
there's like
scared.
I don't necessarily love the context of just like a straight woman playing with her little gay dolls and having them all be tortured and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I also don't agree that the saddest thing, like I read fan fiction, right? So like, and there's people that love A Little Life. If you love A Little Life, girl, go for it. There's books I love that people hate. You know what I mean? I love Sally Rooney books and there are people that cannot stand those books. That's all, like whatever. But the way people are like, oh my God, ooh, woo, my boys, I love this. It's such a sad book when I'm like, just putting 9 in a book does not a sad book make.
9?
There's
That's
like
crazy.
3.
No, that's still
But over the course of whatever, like it's like
That's
this
a
one
lot.
character basically gets shafted the whole book, and the worst possible things you could ever imagine happen to them.
Oh my
And it could
God.
be interesting if it's almost like I hate Charles Dickens, but if it's like a Dickensian kind of like
moral story.
yes, but it's
Yeah,
more
for
just being
sure.
like it's supposed to be based in realism, and I'm like, well, babe, this is crazy. Like if
Yeah.
it's based in realism, you have to have one character be like, well, this is insane.
Well, it's like when you get your first creative writing assignment.
This
and
is what it
everyone
is.
like,
It's giving my parents sold me to One Direction. Like every single trauma you can ever imagine happens to one character, basically. And again, the book itself, that's fine. But to then have it become this like runaway success for its realism and whatever, I have issues with it. And this is the same thing with Snape being in love with Lily, where it's like that just has a notion on its own. I'm like, okay, whatever. But people being like, always, after all this time, always. I'm like,
always.
bro, chill out.
Alan Rickman did sell that though in the movie.
Oh, well, he has to.
I remember thinking, I was like, how's he going to pull this off? And then he did.
He does. He's a great
He
actor.
pulled it off. Great actor. Rest in peace,
Rest
King.
in-
I'm
rest
so
in
glad
peace.
you died before you had to deal with J.K. Rowling.
I know, because I don't want that take.
I just don't want to know what your take is.
No.
Because the way she's come after David Tennant now is crazy.
Crazy.
So David Tennant has a trans kid and is just like generally supportive. And I can't remember what he did, but he did something that was just like in favor of the trans community.
And she's like, no.
Well, she like went on record and was like, he's killing us all or something crazy. And I was like, David Tennant, the former Doctor Who, you really think like respectfully, how much power does he actually have? He's just being a good person.
Well, this is the thing, and
What?
obviously we're preaching to the choir. Like, I really don't think there's a massive audience on our podcast.
Yeah, I don't
that
think we
needs
have a
to
lot
be
of
like
trans folks
Exactly.
listening to the pod.
But I'm just like, girl, cis men are killing us. Like, this is not a problem.
Yeah, no,
Like, respectfully, as a woman that has dealt with like dangerous situations and abuse, as most women have.
Yeah.
You know who it wasn't at the hands of?
a
trans
woman. No, shockingly, it was
A cis man. As it always is.
A couple of cis women, let's just say.
But it's like to be like, it's just whatever.
No, I genuinely think she's had like some sort of stroke or something.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. And this is not to absolve her of, she needs to answer for the things she said.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I do believe in karma. Like, it will come to her. Do you know what I mean? All that stuff. But I wouldn't be surprised if she dies, like when she dies, whatever. Not like, oh my God, she's going to die right now. But when she dies, they open up her brain and they're like, oh, she has a tumor.
Yeah.
The tumor is pressing on her brain.
Absolutely. I think that there's like, the reason why I think it's a stroke is because I literally think that so many people of that generation are having like mini strokes all the time.
Yeah.
Like I would not be surprised if my like mother's had a stroke.
And she's like, no, I don't.
And you're like, no, I don't. I'm like, I feel like you maybe have.
Yeah.
I just feel like, because like, you know, when a lot of people hit like that age, like 60 something,
and they lose their damn minds.
They lose their mind. And it's not even in a way that like, oh, you're getting older, you know, maybe you're trying to. No, it's like literally something like shifts in their brain and their personality. It's like when you know someone who gets a really bad concussion.
Yeah.
And then their personality is always just like a little bit different.
Yep.
It feels like it's that, but like times like 10.
I think that's true. Or my other theory of that would be
lead paint.
No, but loving that.
That's my other theory.
Yeah. By the way, loving that lead was found in tampons.
Loving that. Lead in tampons?
You haven't seen this? There's like arsenic and like toxins and chemicals have been found in tampons.
Recently?
This week.
This week?
Yeah.
Well, thank God I've been using the same Diva Cup for 2 years.
I know. I'm like, I need to get on my Diva Cup. Shit, I've been free bleeding into my nicks. But I do use tampons every once in a while. And I'm like, well, you know what? Now I got to get my Diva Cup.
Oh, yeah. No, Diva Cup, honestly, I went back to tampons for a little bit because I was like, I'm sick of my Diva Cup. And then I was like, I hate this. I'm going back to my Diva Cup.
Yeah, it makes you feel a bit ill if you really think about it. Mm-hmm. Probably because your body's ingesting lead.
Well, yeah, and your body's just like, I don't really want a cotton swab up me right now.
And fair.
I don't really want this.
My other theory is that untreated mental health, like we know this, like untreated mental illness like eats away at your brain.
For sure.
I have no background in science, but I feel like a lot of Alzheimer's is caused by untreated like anxiety and depression, which just like absolutely ravages your brain. Yeah. And I think that's a lot of it, where it's like if you're not treated, and that generation specifically as well, like talking to my parents, nothing but love and light, but like I'll be like, you need to get treated. Mm-hmm. And they'll be like, running's my therapy. And I'm like, no, that's not what I'm saying.
Oh, the worst ever conversation I had with my mother when I was like, well, because she has like some sort of mental illness that she's never really been able to diagnose, and she would go through these like phases where like she would just like completely like, maybe this is too personal for the pod, but I'm already talking about it, but like she would go through phases where she would kind of just like be like completely like not lucid for like weeks at a time.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, well, I never remember that, so I didn't tell the therapist about it. And I was like, that's the part you need to tell the therapist? What do you mean? She's like, oh, well, like I just didn't remember like 2 weeks at a time, so why would I mention that to the therapist?
Because you can't remember, babe.
You can't remember 2 weeks at a time, Mom. I can't even.
No.
I can't with that.
No.
It's like, girl.
Should we talk about Diana?
Yeah, let's talk about Diana.
Yeah.
Let's freaking go into it, even though I really want to talk about the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders.
I know.
I'll save that for next episode when I finish the series.
And I already recounted to you that I had a panic attack this weekend, so what does the podcast need to hear of that? You know what I mean?
Of your podcast? Of your panic attack?
Yeah.
I meant to say panic attack and said podcast, and what does that say?
That's dark.
What does that say? Yeah.
Your podcast?
Your
podcast?
Are you having a podcast?
Starting another podcast?
Are you having a podcast? Damn, that's dark. Just like Diana's affairs.
Yeah. So last episode we leave off, they've been married and William and Harry are born.
Okay.
And the affairs begin. Now both well, because he cheated, both Charles and Diana claim basically that it implies that the other one cheated first because they both started cheating in 1986. Okay. Diana started cheating with her riding instructor, who was like head of the cavalry or fucking whatever.
Cool.
Like people kind of do the classist thing of being like, her riding instructor, oh, so hot, and you're like, well, he was working at the palace, so
yeah.
He was
a royal employee.
He's fine.
Let's relax.
Don't worry about him.
Yeah.
And Charles obviously starts cheating with Camilla.
Okay.
In the future, when asked on record, Charles maintains that he did not physically cheat on Diana in 1986. We know he's been emotionally cheating on her. Mm-hmm. Just taking Camilla's calls on the honeymoon and stuff like that.
It's just insane.
Yes. And there's also rumors beforehand, but none of them have been corroborated heavily enough for me to really bring them up on the podcast, of Diana being like linked to an art dealer or whatever. Like it's hard to be like, did the media just say that they were dating or hooking up? Mm-hmm. Or is it a man and a woman like standing next to each other?
Yeah.
But James Hewitt, I know his last name's Hewitt. I want to make sure that I got his first name right. Yes. Has like written a book obsessed with talking about having this affair with Diana. Like talks about it constantly, wrote a book about it.
This is the riding instructor?
Yes.
Oh my God.
I was looking it up. He was talking about it as recently as like 2011. Like, will not let it go.
Let it go. That's embarrassing.
It's really embarrassing.
That's embarrassing. No.
Exactly.
Give it up.
It's your fault. Like, move on, babe. I beg.
Just say her gotta be. Never
Finish
mind.
the sentence.
No, it's fine.
Finish her pussy gotta be what?
Her pussy gotta be memorable.
Definitely.
Real
She
memorable.
gives me the vibe, and I don't think this is good or bad.
Yeah.
But she gives me tiny little pocket vibes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She seems like the type.
Just a tiny little pocket pussy.
Pocket, little coin purse.
Just a little coin purse.
So he talks about in his book at the time, like he would be put in like boots of cars, the trunks for us North Americans, and like driven into the palace after night, being really worried about running into Charles because they slept in separate bedrooms. But that's normal. That's like a king and queen thing, which is kind of crazy. I don't know if they still do it.
Super weird.
But it's like a not gentry, but you know what I mean? Like a royal thing of like you sleep in different bedrooms, which I would do if this was me. Is I'd be like, we can sleep in the same room, but I would love to be rich enough to just have my own room.
Oh yeah, that's like the dream.
And like we can sleep in the same bed, but like here's my room.
But like my room is here. This is my room.
I think it's probably good, actually, for relationships. I do think that sleeping in the same bed is really good for like vulnerability. And by the way, I'm almost 25, so I can talk. I know the most about relationships that anyone's ever known. But I think that is good for like vulnerability and building like connection, just being around, sleeping with someone. But girl, space is nice.
Yeah.
He also says at this time, which I loved and I had to mention, that she had a row of stuffed animals at the bottom of her bed when he's had sex with her.
Whoa.
Which is me.
That's iconic.
I have on
Do you
my
think
bed-
they were Beanie Babies?
The Princess Diana Beanie Baby. Which I'm just saying, like, usually how old is she in 1986? She was 19 in 1981. So in 5 years, she's what, 24?
Oh my God, she's so young.
And I'm 24 right now, and I got stuffed animals on my bed.
That's what I'm saying.
I've got my ugly doll. I've got my Winnie the Pooh hot water bottle. And of course, I've got my white little polar bear with a little scarf. Like,
I've got my Squishmallow. I love my Squishmallow.
you've got to have
pig.
stuffed. Like,
You have to have a stuffed animal. People that are just like, no. I'm like, oh, so
I know.
your-
I'm like, so
your
you've never known
life is-
comfort.
Your life is void of love and comfort.
Good. No, that's good to know.
Good. That's normal, and that's normal, and feel good.
So that's when the affairs began. In April of 1981, Diana opens the first specialist HIV and AIDS unit in London's Middlesex Hospital. And it is here where she hugs and shakes hands with AIDS patients.
Which is iconic.
Massive deal. Firstly, because royal people don't even really shake hands with it. Like,
No.
you don't really hug people, period.
Yeah.
You like do a little bit of like, oh, whatever.
like a
And this was
wave.
also at the time in which like police would break up like HIV or like AIDS rights protests, like wearing plastic gloves. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
Or like nurses would refuse to like treat AIDS patients, even though you know the science, because they're like, oh my God, you're contaminated. You're going to give it to me, all this stuff.
Oh, that's so sad.
So for her to set this example, I mean, this really obviously gets the queer community behind her because it's a show of humanity. Reagan's not saying AIDS on TV, period. You know what I mean? Like, she is being a human and a person, and
Just
personable
publicly
and
acknowledging
supporting.
it too.
Exactly.
Is like insane.
Opening the unit is already a massive deal to be like, no, I'm going to open this unit. We're going to take care of these people. But then to also be like showing compassion, and she's a role model. You know what I mean? So if Diana's doing it, a lot of women are going to see that and be like, well, she's the people's princess. If Diana's doing it,
then I should do it
then
too.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we love that.
That's amazing.
Exactly.
The first ally
Yes.
in the royal
Do you
family.
want to have a guess as to which celebrity is going to enter the chat right now?
Elton John?
No, Michael Jackson.
Michael. Oh no. Okay. Sorry, Elton John's already been here.
He's already in the chat.
He's in the chat. So Michael Jackson, ring ring,
Yeah.
pops in.
July 16th, 1988, Diana and Charles attend famous Michael Jackson's Bad World Tour. You have to mute.
Famous pet Michael Jackson.
Really, the curse that you have to admit with Michael Jackson
Yeah.
tests the limits of how talented you can possibly be.
While still being a pet.
Get people to forget
Yeah.
about your transgressions.
Oh yeah, no, he really does.
And he's close.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's hard.
Well, and I think he also has done the thing of being dead, which is beneficial.
No, him being dead is really helping his case right now.
No, honestly. And having an incredibly sad life.
Yeah.
And being the poster child of somebody continuing the cycle of abuse.
Yeah,
like, you don't look at Michael Jackson and you're like, why is he doing this? You're like, oh, no.
You're like, so I understand exactly why he's doing this.
I think I've got the full story.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really too bad.
Yes. So July 16th, 1988, Diana and Charles attend Michael Jackson's Bad World Tour at Wembley. Jackson, it's funny to read Jackson because it's Michael Jackson. Sorry, I don't know why. Michael Jackson removes the song Dirty Diana from the set list because he's like, well, he's going to do that. He's like, well, obviously, like, Diana's here. She's a royal.
What?
And he says, like, beforehand, like, I guess he's meeting them beforehand or whatever. And he's like, don't worry, I'm removing that.
I'm removing Dirty Diana.
Yeah.
I'd be so mad if I were her.
She says that. She's like, it's my favorite song.
Oh, as it should be.
Yeah, it's about you.
Dirty Diana.
Yeah, she said she'd be disappointed if he didn't play it because it's her favorite song. And now, like, it gets weird because Jackson has maintained in interviews, and again, a person who's been known to lie, so, you know, that he didn't play the song that night.
Mm-hmm.
But there's video that he did.
That's awesome.
Not the only time there's been hard proof.
One thing I will say about Michael Jackson is that,
I'm
like,
so excited to hear this.
It's going to be a lot less saucy than you think.
Okay.
But it was just like such a fact that he absolutely hated touring. So I can only imagine that he's for sure
he's blocked it out of his memory.
For sure he's blocked it out of his memory.
Well, when did he get, like, lit on fire?
He got lit on fire?
Because that was one of the main, like, he got, like, a bunch of reconstructive surgery because he got lit on fire with pyrotechnics, I imagine. Maybe I've invented
that's
this.
Too bad. No, that sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds like something that would happen to Michael Jackson.
Exactly. A life marred by tragedy.
Just a life with tragedy after tragedy.
Yeah.
Cycle
Hurt
of abuse
people.
after cycle of abuse.
Yeah, just a cycle of abuse that turns into a spiral of abuse in which everyone's abused.
I'm gonna Google Michael Jackson on fire and you go on to the next fact.
Well, everybody let me know if, like, DM me or let us know in the comments of the YouTube video. There's a One Direction song called Diana. And I've always wondered if it's about Princess Diana because it goes, front page is all your pictures. They make you look so small.
Yeah.
How could someone mislead you out? Like, it kind of feels like they're singing to
Princess Diana. Oh.
I always wondered.
Oh, his hair caught on fire during a Pepsi commercial.
Pepsi. I thought it might be Pepsi related.
Okay, this makes sense.
I did a Pepsi commercial, so me and Michael Jackson are the same.
Did that ever come out?
Yeah, it only plays on little TV screens at gas stations. Acting is my passion, by the way.
What do you mean little TV screens at gas stations?
When you're filling up your gas.
It plays on...
Somebody messaged me and was like, I was filling up my gas.
And you were on the tiny TV screen.
Yeah, so yeah. Hollywood.
One thing that Michael Jackson and Carly Thorne have in common, I'll give you one guess.
It's a Pepsi
commercial.
That was the one that I told the story in the podcast. I'd never drank Mountain Dew before. And my character, she drank Mountain Dew. And they do a bunch of
freak.
Like a freak.
Like a freak.
Well, the other person, so somebody drank Pepsi, I drank Mountain Dew, and the guy in the back seat drank Star, which is their version of Sprite, which I didn't know existed.
Sorry, what's Star?
It's Pepsi Cola's version of Sprite. I've never seen it before in my life.
Pepsi Cola's version of Sprite was 7-Up.
Well, there's drinking Star soda. I swear on my life.
Star soda?
I swear on my life.
Was this was this for a different country? What the hell's Star soda?
When you're, like, on a commercial, they do a bunch of takes, but they have you, like, they're basically like, oh my God. So you have to, like, you're fucking loving Mountain Dew. So you have to, like, the camera swings around and I'm basically chugging Mountain Dew for 15 seconds. But we do, like, literally 20 takes. So by the end of this, I've drank 3 full bottles of Mountain Dew. They keep filling up again. And they're like, okay, that's the last take of the day. They wrap us and then you can go to lunch and then you can go. And me and the other person who, also, do you know the YouTuber CJ the X?
No,
They're a video essayist. I don't think I went to high school with them, but, like, they were friends with my high school friends or whatever. Mm-hmm. Their younger brother was the Pepsi person.
Okay, epic.
So, you know, worlds colliding in a beautiful way.
Huge.
We were like, let's do a foot race. Because we were so amped up because they had just drank 3 bottles of Pepsi.
So much sugar.
And I just drank 3 bottles of Mountain Dew. I'd never felt more. I felt like I had wings.
Let's have a foot race.
We did a foot race because I felt crazy.
That's so funny. No, that's horrifying.
Okay, so now let's talk about Tampon Gate.
Okay, Tampon Gate. Did she wear a tampon?
December 17th, 1989. Mm-hmm. tampons have arsenic in them, but we will not know
For 30 something
years.
years.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So Charles and Camilla share a private phone call, which is later recorded and sold to the press.
Oh no.
So we'll get to later in the timeline when it comes out.
Okay.
We're gonna read the transcripts.
I can't wait. Yeah,
Because
we're
I've
gonna
sent you.
We're gonna do an
They're
acting.
online, so you can read them anyway. But I've scrapped the best parts of them for us to read.
I'm really excited because this is gonna be really like an acting exercise.
Yes. And
Okay.
it's before we get started, I just want to say that Josh O'Connor, who plays Prince Charles in The Crown, the younger years, basically all but had it in his contract that he would not reenact Tampon Gate because he's like, it's simply too disgusting. I don't want my parents to see me do that.
Oh, okay.
So you want to read them?
Yeah,
Who
let's
do you want to
go.
be?
You have to pick. You have
I'll
to
be
pick.
Charles because I feel like it's going to be so shocking to you that you won't be able to get through it.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is a Diana phone call that also got. The first two are Diana phone call that got recorded that we're also going to read out
Okay.
loud. But the third one is Charles and Camilla. Do
So
you
let's
see
start
that?
on the third one. Should I do the accent?
Whatever you want. I'll do.
Are you
I'll
gonna
do
do-
a bit of an accent.
Okay.
It might not be. Oh my god, sorry, my hand is cramping. Okay.
I know it would revive me. I can't bear a Sunday night without you.
Oh god.
It's like that program, Start the Week. I can't start the week without you.
I fill up your tank.
Yes, you do.
Then you can cope.
Then I'm all right.
What about me? The trouble is I need you several times a week.
So do I. I need you all the week, all the time.
Oh god, I'll just live inside your trousers or something. That would be much easier.
What are you going to turn into? A pair of knickers? Says both laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, you're just going to come back as a pair of knickers.
Or god forbid a Tampax. Just my luck.
You are a complete idiot. Whoa, what a wonderful idea.
My luck to be chucked down the lavatory and go on, forever swirling around on the top, never going down.
Oh, darling.
And then it goes a little bit later. So to the next one. Mm-hmm. He was a bit anxious, actually.
Was
He
he?
thought he might have gone too far.
Oh, well.
Anyway, that's the sort of thing one has to be aware of and sort of feel one's way along with. You know what I mean.
You're awfully good feeling your way along.
Oh, stop! I want to feel my way along you, all over you, and up and down you, and in and out.
Oh, Charles.
Particularly in and out.
Oh, that's just what I need at the moment.
Is it? Okay. And then this is the final one. We can come back after the oh darling. So this is the part, I guess this got kind of like mixed up or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah,
you know what
I get
mean.
it. Oh, darling.
Until the next one comes through.
Oh, perhaps you could come back as a box.
What sort of box?
A box of Tampax so you could just keep going.
That's me.
Repeating yourself. Oh, darling, I just want you now.
Do you? So do I.
Desperately, desperately, desperately. Oh, I thought of you so much at Yarabi.
Isn't that vile?
That is crazy. That is crazy.
That's crazy.
He wants to be a tampon.
He wants to go in and out of her like a
In
tampon.
and out
He
of
wants
like
to
a
go.
tampon, it gets
But the thing that's
flushed
crazy, it's like
down.
one thing. Oh my god, haha, joke. But he'll be like, it's just my luck to go round and round and round on the top of the toilet, and then she'll be like, like, girl,
In the
what?
toilet.
Did I get you going?
That is crazy.
And if I was Diana, I'd go absolutely nuts because I'd be like, not only do you have the nerve to cheat on me, you're doing it in the most corny, embarrassing way.
No, that's humiliating. He was just the weirdest guy to talk to.
I know, and that there is a part of that. We've talked about this a bit on the podcast where I do think that Camilla gets shafted.
Yeah.
Because she's not as conventionally attractive as Diana is.
Yeah.
And I do think that like he found someone to match his freak. Like
No, he did.
they
He's
get
succeeded.
along. He's
Is somebody
insane.
gonna match my freak?
He's a insane person.
No, that's horrifying. Honestly, very funny.
Yes.
The does it for me.
After Tampon Gate, and if you can believe it, in this couple, another a phone call gets recorded between Diana and her friend.
Okay.
That's called Squidgy Gate.
Oh no.
That's on December 31st, 1989. So this is like Tampon Gate's December 17th. Squidgy Gate is December 31st.
Okay.
Diana calls her old friend James Gilby, who is the heir to the Gilby gin fortune.
Okay.
Just
let's
for
relax.
a fun, just a fun,
relax.
just a fun little, some color to the story.
Gilby gin.
You know.
Jesus.
And she's complaining about her marriage. This phone call also recorded. We're going to read the transcripts. And the reason it's called Squidgy Gate is because over the course of the phone call, Gilby calls Diana darling 14 times and Squidgy 53 times.
No. Jesus
And I do
Christ.
relate to this in the sense that I definitely am the kind of person that like introduces a terminology into my vernacular and then overuses it. So do you want to be Diana or
You have to be
Gilby?
Diana.
Okay, yeah.
And so, darling, what other lows today?
So that was it. I was very bad at lunch. I nearly started blubbing. I just felt very sad and empty, and I thought, bloody hell, after all I've done for this fucking family.
You don't need to, because there are people out there, and I've said this before, who will replace the emptiness with all sorts of things.
I needn't ask horoscopes, but it's just so desperate. Always being innuendo, the fact that I'm going to do something dramatic because I can't stand the confines of this marriage.
I know.
But I know so much more than they because...
Well, interestingly enough, that thing in the people didn't imply either one of you.
Probably referring to People magazine.
Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
rich and famous,
He's
so he calls it
calling
The People.
Like a dick.
No.
So I wouldn't worry about that. I think it's common knowledge, darling. And amongst both people, you obviously don't have...
A rapport?
Yeah, I think that comes through loud and clear. Darling, just forgetting the for a moment, how is Mara?
Mara Bernay, owner of Knightsbridge Restaurant in San Lorenzo.
Sure.
Yeah. She's all right. No, she's fine. She can't wait to get back.
Can't she? When's she coming back?
Saturday.
Is she?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was next Saturday.
No, Saturday.
Not quite as soon as you thought it
A little bit more boring. Okay, next slide.
Okay then, Squidgy. I'm sorry you have had low times. Try, darling, when you have these urges, you just try to replace them with anger, like you did on Friday night, you know? This guy rocks.
I know, be like, instead of cheating on your husband, just scream at
Just
him.
be mad. Just be angry.
I know, but do you know what's really quite some, whatever the word is, his grandmother, the Queen Mary, okay,
Yeah, Queen Mary, mother.
is always looking at me with a strange look in her eyes. It's not hatred, but sort of interest and pity mixed in one. I'm not quite sure. I don't understand it. Every time I look up, she's looking at me, then looks away and smiles.
Does she?
Yes, and I don't know what's going on.
I should say to her one day, I can't, you are always looking at me. What is it? What are you thinking? You must, darling.
I don't know if you must.
And interestingly enough, one of those things said to me today is that you are going to start standing up for yourself.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We all know that you are very capable of that, old bossy boots.
I know, yes.
What have you had on today?
I just
What are you
wanted to include this part because this part is insane.
What have you had on today? What have you been wearing?
A pair of black jodhpur things at the moment and a pink polo neck.
Really? Looking good?
Yes.
Are you?
Yes.
Dead good?
Oh, I think it's good. So it's just like, oh my God,
love this.
It's not even like, because they're just friends. Like, they're not cheating together. It's just like she's complaining about her marriage and saying that the Queen Mother looks at her with pity.
And we've all
also,
had
like, pet
we've all had
names.
a horny friend.
Yes,
like
of
that on
course.
the
That's
phone.
like, I'll do something.
I'll do something
You're
crazy
like, okay,
to you.
chill out. But that's the kind
I'll
of friends
fix
you
all
want to
your
talk. Like, there's
problems.
different
Yeah.
friends that you want to talk to in moments of
Different
actual
strokes for
advice,
different folks.
or you want somebody to just like indulge your
Yes.
your drama. Because I would also imagine
Yeah.
at this point she's been married for quite a moment. I'm sure the sisters have been like moratorium on you complaining about your marriage. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's just
You
some-
married the prince.
You're fine.
Chill out. Yeah.
whether or not that's right
We
or
can't
not.
hear
but
about it
whatever.
anymore.
So that happens December 31st, 1989, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hasn't leaked. Both of these phone calls haven't leaked. Nothing happens for a bit. The next thing I have on this timeline is March 29th, 1992. Okay, so we're skipping around. We're skipping 3 years, basically.
Yeah.
And this is Lord Spencer dies. So Diana's father dies.
Okay.
And I bring this in because I think it's important to highlight Princess Diana acting insane.
Yeah.
We've already know from before she pushed her
Stepmother down the
Rain
stairs.
Legge.
Rain legs. Which
Down
is
the-
crazy.
Yeah, down the stairs. Didn't get along with her, locked her out of rooms and stuff like that. Okay.
I get it.
So basically, Lord Spencer dies and his children inherit the estate, right? And generally speaking, as we know from like Jane Austen novels or whatever, like, you know, while it goes to the firstborn son, like they still support the mother, but they don't like Rain
Yeah.
Legge.
So
so
Legge. Leggy Rain.
Legay, the gay in French.
Legay Rain.
So they kick her out of the house basically immediately and only allow her to take items that she can prove that she owns.
Oh my God.
Which, like, how do you prove anything? You can be like, how do you prove that you own this coffee table? I'd be like, girl, I can't.
That's crazy.
Yes. So the maid begins packing. I guess the maid still's packing up Rain's fucking suitcase or whatever. And she's packing up her suitcase in Louis Vuitton suitcases with an S on them.
Mm-hmm.
And Diana's like, well, that S is for Spencer. And you're taking them. So she made her like unpack everything and have all of Rain's items be packed in garbage bags.
Oh my God.
And this woman's an aristocrat, so she's not like homeless. Like,
yeah,
just insanely cruel behavior on behalf of the, siblings.
Oh my God.
Also, like, they were all there. You know what I mean? Like, Diana came into the room and was like, you're packing these up in the Louis Vuitton suitcase. Absolutely not.
That's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
Like, you could post them back after.
Yeah, put them in a box.
Just,
you know what I mean?
Lend them. But I get it. Like, I'm sure tensions were high.
Yeah, it's not unusual for children of a really messy divorce when the father's also dead, so he can't answer for your issues with the divorce to hate the stepmother.
Yeah.
And they never got along. Like, she would always call her, like, wicked stepmother. So I'm sure that, like, she wasn't,
too bad.
Victim. Like, she was not like the victim in this reign, but, like, they, you know what I mean? It's still very cruel. And I think it's just important to note because Diana, while being like, and I know this is wrong. This is literally the basis of every single like mother in the Commonwealth and the UK like projecting onto Diana. But I do identify with her reading about her.
Yeah.
And I identify with her in both ways of like she can be incredibly compassionate for people, but she's also insane.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like she's nasty. She's very mean. She can be very vindictive.
For sure. And if someone wrongs you your whole life and then you get a chance to be like,
especially like childhood issues.
Yeah.
Like there are people who have wronged me
deep.
in adult life that I have a lot more compassion for than people who wronged me when they were children too.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like so in your brain that you're like, you.
Yeah, like, no, you're done. You did that to me when I was a kid.
Yeah,
what did
that
you
was
do?
a child.
That was a kid. That was a baby.
But I think it's like important because so often she's like deified, and I think that the person who she actually was is infinitely more interesting, and I like even more. Like, she constantly complained about her marriage. All of her friends were like, we don't want to hear anymore. Who of us have not been that? Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And she was cruel to her stepmother, who was cruel to her when she was a child. But like, isn't that more interesting than like a wilting flower who never did anything wrong? Yeah. Like she's a complex person and that's interesting to me.
No, it's so much more interesting that she's got a little bit of a zest.
She's got a zest for life.
She's got a zest for life. And that's why I love her.
Exactly. So on August 23rd, 1992, the Squidgy Gate phone call is published in The Sun.
That's so funny.
There was like a timeline of this that at the end I cut out because it's not really entertaining of just like the man. People I guess were just fucking scanning the airwaves at this time for phone calls and stuff, which is insane. And he like recorded it and the guy who recorded it was like an old man and he was like, I didn't know what to do. I thought I could maybe just give it to Diana. I'm like, okay, girl, you sold it to The Sun. So obviously...
The fact that like people could even get a phone call like that boggles my mind.
I know. I'm like, nobody's like listening to the phone call airwaves being regular. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's people's phone calls.
It's bizarre. And it's also just like, why? Like, how can you even access those? Like, I don't even understand.
So like the whole narrative there, I was like, this is just very tacky and I don't want to talk about it being like, well, I wanted to give it to Diana, but I couldn't figure out how to get it to her. So I published it in the newspaper. I'm like, babe, you got money for it. So at the end of the day.
And you lived off that for like how many years?
Exactly.
Also, hello?
Like it's weird.
No, that's bizarre.
So that happens in August. December 9th of that year, Diana and Charles announced their separation. Not a divorce, but they're separated. Okay. Charles employs Alexandra Tiggy Pettifer to nanny the boys when the boys are under his care.
British people have got some crazy friggin' names, dude.
And we learn a lot of context about this from Prince Harry's book, that the boys loved Tiggy. She was a great nanny. And Diana, whether or not though, some of these ideas were planted in her head through gossip or whatever. Yeah. But Diana got it into her head that basically Tiggy was being groomed to be the next her. Whoa. And on top of that, already being like a young, beautiful woman who spends a lot of time traveling and being with your husband, the boys also love her because she was a great nanny. Yeah. That would anger you a lot.
Yeah, that's rough.
Like, Harry knew this when he was a kid. Do you know what I mean? Like, because Diana died when he was quite young. Like, he was
so sad.
Like 10 or something. Like, he was young. So, like, for you to be aware of this as a child, like, those are feelings. You know what I mean? And obviously she didn't have a great like example because her mother, when her parents were divorcing would like cry and be like, I just don't want you to go and be with your father. Like,
That's so sad.
this is very much, and I have friends like this who, like, when their parents were getting divorced, they'd be like, yeah, I was 11 and my mom came to me and said, I'm leaving your father, don't tell him. Like, this is very textbook parent behavior, but it's wrong. Like, that doesn't excuse the fact that you don't need to involve your children in the gossip and drama of your relationship.
For sure.
But children,
But parents love to do that.
they love to use the child as a bargaining chip.
Yeah.
There's nothing better.
My parents did that to me. And it was fun.
It was, I'm sure it had
And
no
I had a
lasting effects on you.
Great time, and I'm really normal.
You're really normal because of that.
feel
It
great.
actually made you more normal.
I feel great.
It's awesome to be used that way.
I feel really good.
I feel really
I feel really good.
So Diana starts to it's crazy. Like spread rumors
Awesome.
throughout the palace, basically, that Tiggy and Charles are hooking up.
Okay.
Part of this is because, like, there is a journalist where later Diana is going to go on the record, and the journalist has obtained this interview through false pretenses by basically forging different receipts and proof of the relationship between Tiggy and Charles and presenting it to Diana to be like, look what I got you. But it's fake. Like, he gave Diana an abortion receipt, which feels like not even a thing.
What?
Being like, look, she, like, got an abortion of Charles's baby kind of thing.
Oh my God.
So, like, this is also, she's obviously being manipulated and fed these things,
Yeah.
but Diana's also going mean girl
Yeah.
energy.
She's
Like,
going Regina
your
George.
life in court is going to be a living hell, so help me
Yeah.
God. There's rumors of a story in which this continued for so long, and there's rumors of either a miscarriage or an abortion going around, and Diana went up to Tiggy at one point and said, sorry about the baby. And it made Tiggy cry because, like, she knew that it was, like, coming, all of these rumors were coming from Diana.
Oh my God.
Which is kind of nuts to be
No,
like,
that is
sorry about the baby.
Sorry about the baby lost.
But this is obviously all hearsay. Like, we have no proof that literally any of this happened.
Yeah. But still nuts.
But nuts.
Yeah. No, that's crazy.
But
shit.
again, this is the thing we've talked about before where, like, some people, and this is, like, kind of like, I feel like Charles in this situation, like, a lot of times men will put themselves at odds with women and not really understand the, like, emotional insanity that is to be
a girl.
a girl in high school.
Yeah, for sure.
Where it's like, whenever a man wrongs me, I'm like, you don't have the guts to deal with the things that I can do.
No, you have no idea.
Like,
how
I
my
sensed
brain
this
has
was
been
happening,
poisoned.
and I've been poisoning the well already.
Yeah.
Like, so
Like, it's done.
exactly.
Yeah.
I knew this was happening, and I have already laid the groundwork for me to rise like a phoenix from the ashes. So, like, this is kind of reading that of, like, again, Charles doesn't care about women. Let's get that out of the way. And I'm not even saying alleged. Like, it's very, like,
it's clear.
It's very clear that he, like, played Camilla against Diana, being like, I wish I could be with you. I love you so much. And, like, use Camilla to keep Diana in check.
Yeah.
And it doesn't surprise me that he would do nothing to protect
Yeah.
Tiggy. I mean, she's also, like, his employee, so there's also the layer of classism in there as well. But, like, this does not surprise me that he's doing nothing to protect her, because a good person in this scenario would be like, I'm the only person with clout here that can go head to toe, not head to toe, that can go toe to toe with Diana.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have a conversation.
Yeah.
But why would he do that when he can continue just letting women suffer at his hands?
Because it's fun to watch women suffer when you're Mr.
really
Charles.
That's really, really fun.
Crazy. Everyone should stay away from the palace, quite frankly.
Well, yeah, and this is the thing. Like, there's a lot of anecdotes that we can't talk about every single alleged anecdote.
Yeah.
But, like, Diana has been poisoned by the palace. Like, she's literally been living in basically, like, a compound with the most insane, horrible people. When the marriage was failing and these rumors of Charles cheating on Diana came out, like, the queen alleged that it was Diana's bulimia that was making the marriage fail.
Oh my God.
Like, messed
Not
up
the
stuff.
queen
I
being
know.
involved, being like, well, your bulimia is the worst part about this.
The worst thing
You
about
know
this is
that,
your bulimia, by the way.
Your bulimia is making everyone uncomfortable.
Yes, like, she didn't have any allies in the court beyond those that she built around her.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not excusing the behavior, but I'm explaining the behavior of being like, it's not a normal, cool, chill environment.
No.
And you can imagine somebody who's already so traumatized by this relationship and being cheated on to
Yeah.
then have the feeling of your sons being taken
Yeah.
as well, even though that's not the case. Like, they still loved their mother, but you know what I mean? Like, she's
Yeah.
an insecure person. She's also young. Like, she's not that old still.
That's so sad. That's so much like that you shouldn't have to put up with at any age, but especially like before you're 30.
Yeah, like your brain is
no.
still cooking.
Yeah.
It's going to be messed up.
That's too much. That's too much.
Yeah, and just constant scrutiny as well. Like the public does really, really like her. She's a really interesting case study, which we talked a bit about in the first episode of like so often you hear stories about women mishandling the media.
And she handled it well.
But Diana kills it.
Yeah. No, she knew exactly what she was doing.
But still, like, you're still under constant media scrutiny.
Absolutely.
And like to have so far to fall and be dealing with mental illness, and you know, when she was dealing with postpartum depression, being like, well, we're gonna like hole away in our country house so nobody knows, like this stigma of all this mental illness and this pressure to be perfect on top of everything, like
it's got to be rough.
it's gotta be rough.
It's got to be rough.
I just do want to paint like a full portrait of her again, because she does get.
But I like that you're not shying away, like in your descriptions of her, from like her being kind of insane as well as like the people's princess that we know and love.
Yes, and these two truths can exist.
And they
together.
inform each other in a way that is like, I think, very powerful.
Yes.
To be like, this is someone who like meant so much to so many people, but she also was like very human. Like she was like a girl. Like she's not that far off in age from you and me at this point.
Yeah, and I could truly write an essay about the type of woman you basically need to be to truly succeed in the palace environment, which I think she does.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that she's the kind of person that can play this gossip rumor mill.
Yeah.
Whereas like someone, obviously Meghan is also suffering from racism to an exponential amount. But like when you look at the differences between like Meghan Markle and Kate Middleton,
Yes.
like Kate was raised in a boarding school, all like this all girls catty environment, where Meghan's just like, obviously she's an actress and all this stuff, but like California girl, live, laugh, love.
Yeah.
Like she just wasn't prepared. It's like the East Coast, West Coast of it all.
Yeah.
Of like when you meet West Coasters, I'm like, what happened to you?
Yeah.
Like why are you so chill?
Why are you so chill? No one, everyone else is stressed out. You should stress out more.
Yes, where
Can't
it's like
deal with
it makes
that.
sense that Diana can kind of play this rumor mill and start gossip to hurt another woman, because that's like how you succeed in these aristocratic circles. This is my theory. Again, I am not an aristocrat.
No, but that sounds right.
Kate, you know, through doing research about this, I've gotten really onto like William's affairs.
Oh
And like the way that she has systematically like had to like remove those women from the circle in like ways with social grace, but also like on top of everything else, like kind of socially like kick them out of the circle, period. It's like you have to be a popular girl.
And you have to know how to play the game.
Like Meghan was a theater kid. Like I would be Meghan so fast in the royal family. It's crazy. I'd be texting someone at 5 a.m. because I'm jet lagged, and they'd be like, that's so fun. Or there's like another thing where like Meghan asked to use Kate's lip gloss and like used her finger to apply it. And Kate's like, she didn't want to share lip with me. You know what I mean? Like
that's crazy.
It's vigilance that it makes sense. Like just to paint in my theory when I think about stuff like this, the kind of woman that Diana has to be.
Yeah. I couldn't think in that way. Like, I don't know.
No.
Like that must just be like mental freaking gymnastics, dude. Like, oh my God. I
Yeah.
can't even do it.
No,
but I think you're right. That's really interesting. And I do think there's something to be said about like she knew how to play the game. She knew how to play the game well. And in a lot of ways she won.
And she was always very like well liked.
Yeah.
She was like, she is introverted, which I think again is why like she was so destroyed by like this like level of fame and scrutiny and never being alone.
Yeah.
But she was always said to be like, very outgoing and whatever in groups where she felt comfortable, and then kind of quiet and whatever. But like, you know, she was always very like popular girl, like not like unpopular. I don't know if she was like I don't know. It's hard to tell because it's like you're basing this information off of like school teachers that have like rotted their brains by being like, well, I taught Princess Diana, so I have no like awareness of how she actually is. Like I always think about that, where it's like if I became really, really famous, I feel like my teachers would be like, she was always so crazy in class.
Yeah.
And like I was always quiet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's just like, no, you're lying now.
You're adding your own ideas into
You're adding into the narrative when no one asked you to be here.
Yes. January 1999, the Tampon Gate transcript is published.
Which is crazy.
Yes.
My name is Prince Charles, and my dream is to be a little tiny tampon.
I just want to be a tampon going in and out of you.
Going in and out, which is crazy because like once you put a tampon in,
you're not taking it out.
You're not taking it out and putting
really
it in
go
again.
pee again. Like I oftentimes, if I go pee with a tampon in too violently, you know what I mean? Like if it's not a gentle piss, like it's
knocks it around.
dislodged.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, now I'm uncomfortable.
Yeah, you can't like take a. How does he picture taking out a tampon, putting it back in, taking it out?
Well, have you ever been asked by somebody with a penis? Like I remember somebody with a penis one time asked me like, "Oh, don't you get like horny putting a tampon in?" And I was like, I can't explain to you how sterile The whole process is. It couldn't be farther from enjoyable.
I think
you disassociate from your body.
Yeah. I also I guess I get it, like why they would make that association.
But I want to be like, well, because I guess I would be like, it's the equivalent of like putting a condom on, but the only time they put a condom on is before they have sex.
Yeah, and they're like, yippee.
So it'd be like if I was putting in a tampon before having sex, I'd be like, well, I probably would associate it with the whole experience. It's not like you're in like the public washroom and the lights are sterile and you're putting a plastic thing, but like it has like a ridge on it because it's been made in a factory.
Yeah.
So it's cutting like.
It's like
it's not a fun time.
It kind of hurts. It's like annoying, and it's also like I'm already on my period and mad about it.
So Matt Smith in an interview, because he plays Prince Charles, I believe. I get him and David Tennant mix. It's Matt Smith. No, Matt Smith
plays Prince.
Yes, so it is Prince Philip in an interview who says this. Not Prince Philip, it's Matt Smith.
Matt Smith. Mixing him up with Prince Philip is really funny.
They're the same person. And he said that like when Tampon Gate happened, there was like phone booths that you could go and put money into and listen to the entire phone call. I haven't found any proof of this outside of Wikipedia and that interview, but
that's so funny.
I like to believe it's true.
No, I can see that. Oh, sorry, my mother will know.
I can't come into work today. I've got to line up at 10 a.m. for the Tampon Gate phone booth. And there's a special phone line that over 60,000 callers call in to hear the contents of the tape at 36 pence per minute.
Whoa.
So loving that.
So they're making some money.
Yes. June 1994, basically a year later, Charles admits in an interview to cheating on Diana. This is the interview we talked about before where he's like, I only ever cheated on her after it was it was so ruined basically.
She did it first.
Yes. But like in not so many words, but implied. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, when asked if he was faithful, he says yes, until it became irretrievably broken down, us both having tried. Which, girl, you never tried a day in your life.
Give it up, buddy.
And I do think we stumbled onto something in the first part of this episode, like part one, of like he had a different understanding of like what a royal marriage is than she did, maybe. Not to explain it away because he's still he's whack. I can't. Like he's whack.
He's whack.com.
But it feels like to him, he was like, yeah, well, then we just both cheat on each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but still, girl, she's 19.
Yeah.
Like,
no, that's crazy.
What are you
That's
doing?
So sad too.
Yes.
To go into a marriage like that is crazy. I'm
like,
sorry.
I do feel bad for her.
No, it's sad.
Yes. January 11th, 1994. Okay, wait. So I mixed that up. So that happened in June of this year. So we're going back to January.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
To January.
Yeah.
It's okay. We're going back in time.
Yeah. Camilla and Andrew Parker Bowles divorce. So this whole time, Camilla has not been divorced from Andrew Parker Bowles, but they've basically had like an open marriage this entire time. He knew about it. There's been reports that like he kind of almost liked it because it's like if you're going to have an open marriage, like the clout of your wife being the future king of England is like pretty sick.
Might as well.
He also, was having his own affairs, these kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
Like it's a marriage of convenience more than anything else, but not the kind of fun romance where then they fall in love.
Yeah.
The kind where you're just sharing.
They're just sharing Camilla.
Yes. And I was reading some interesting kind of, I don't know, like interpretations. The royal Reddits are nuts. They're a crazy place to be.
Oh yeah,
but people have some interesting thoughts.
Yeah.
About how whether or not Camilla like really actually wanted to be with Charles beyond an affair with him. But basically as soon as Tampon Gate came out, like the only way to recover your like reputation is to marry him.
Oh yeah. Like
you
can't go from like I wish
you're gonna be tampon girl,
yeah,
who cheated on the king with the King of England,
or
whatever. But like he was just like treating you as a piece of ass. The way that you can like recover this is basically
be like, well, now we're married and we're legitimate.
So that's just that's like an analysis of the situation. It's not like, oh my god, so true. But I read that and I was like, that makes sense because before like. She seemed to understand the situation of being like, well, we can't be together and this is tragic. But like, she got married to Andrew before Charles got married to Diana. You know what I mean? She's like, I got to move on with my life.
If you think of it too, like she really just shafted, like she kind of got like the guy she wanted. She got still the clout of being with him, but then like didn't have to deal with any of the other bullshit that got put on Diana.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like she kind of got
winning.
Yeah, she kind of got the best deal in the house.
Like obviously I have to defend Camilla because we've talked about how when I did that sketch for the Second City Christmas show when I was understudying, where I did a sketch where I was improvising the king's address as King Charles.
Yeah.
And it's just like when you do that show like 10 times, you learn the kind of jokes that you do to
and Charles and Camilla is always gonna hit.
It just referencing something that people know always gets a laugh.
Yeah.
Like to be like, I'm listening on Spotify. People are like, I know Spotify.
I love Spotify.
But sometimes you throw like my kind of joke was to be like with my game myself was to be like how up can I make it without it being like offensive or like I'm doing too much with the sketch, because when you're understudying, you're coming in to do the gig as is kind of like written before you, right? Like you're not making it your own really, but I'd be like, okay, how like kind of messed up can these jokes kind of be?
Yeah, before you go into like danger territory.
Yeah, until I get a note from the director being like, don't do that. And how much can I push an audience that's a very normie audience to kind of enjoy like
for
the
sure
inbreeding of the royal family, you know? And I made a joke where I was trying to make a joke basically insinuating that Charles was having sex with his cousin, but then I was trying to be like, and the cousin is a horse, basically, right?
Yeah.
And being like, oh, I love this horse, and I was trying to be like, oh, I named the horse Camilla like after my wife, basically. Yeah. Being like, oh my god, isn't it funny to like somebody to like name the horse for their wife or whatever. It was funny at the time.
Yeah, this is a crazy joke to explain on a podcast.
I know. But then when I said Camilla, everybody just in the audience like interpreted it as Camilla is horse-faced.
Oh no!
And I wanted to be like, no, I'm not that kind of person. They were laughing.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they love that.
Nothing kills more than misogyny.
And everyone's waiting for misogyny.
They want misogyny.
Like,
they're
waiting for it. They're like, there's not enough of it anymore.
But I remember being like, and I'm like, no, like, I can't react. But I'm like, that's not what I like. I want to be like, that's not what I meant.
Yeah.
I was trying to be weird. But that's why I always feel like I have to show up for Camilla a little bit because I feel bad about
because you called her horseface on a stage,
on a public stage,
and that's one of
my favorite. It's not my sketch, obviously, but all the people be like, I saw you as King Charles or whatever, and I'm like, oh, I love that. I look nothing like him.
That's really
funny.
Voice.
It was very much like I can't even do you know like Lauren Lopez in a Harry Potter musical playing Malfoy? It was kind of that
that's
of like
good.
petulant child energy because I can't really do any impressions.
That's good,
but that's why I have to show up for Camilla anyways. Okay,
that's a good story.
So Camilla and Andrew Parker Bowles divorce in January. October of that year, Charles and Camilla attend a party for Lady Sarah Keswick, which seems like AI, right? A rich name.
Awesome.
And they dance and talk all night. So like, this is like the public story of like, they're reconnecting. And I'm like, bitch,
They've
we
been
remember
here.
Tampon Gate.
We were here for Tampax.
Girl, we remember Tampon
They were
Gate.
here for I wish I was a pack of Tampax.
And maybe they like separated after Tampon Gate. You know what I mean? Like we need to whatever. But now they're fine.
Yeah. They're chilling. They're happy to see each other.
September the next year, 1995, Diana starts dating Dr. Hasnat Khan, a British Pakistani lung surgeon. And this was Mr. Wonderful, who we talked about.
Cool.
Who I think everybody should look up because he is hot to me.
Yeah.
Not a lot of information about their relationship at this time. He's a very private person. This is also like in her era where she like goes from like dating kind of himbos to being like, I'm getting with a doctor. I'm getting with a film producer.
Yeah.
You know,
getting with some smart,
it is
educated
a bit like
men.
I don't want to say this as on the like as a white woman, but like this is the she sees this guy and then sees Dodi Fayed.
Yeah,
she's like, I think it's actually time to be treated right by some brown men. Like, it's strange, not strange, but you're like her type changes immediately from being like the worst kind of British men who play polo to like she like hits her 30s and is like, oh, I actually need to be in a good relationship for a change.
I'd like to be with an educated man who knows a bit is a bit socially and culturally aware.
Yes, exactly. She's like had enough of British aristocrats.
I've had enough of dating people who are also on coins.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I get
it.
Yeah, no, I think
it, and I get
it makes sense that she's like getting maturing enough to be like, okay, let's actually have a good relationship.
Let's have a man I can have a conversation with
for once in my life.
Maybe we'll eat a freaking steak.
Yes. They were very private about their relationship, and that's why the pair broke up eventually, because he didn't want to be public with Diana. But even after her death, like he's had nothing but nice things to say about her. She's had nothing but nice things to say about him.
That's lovely.
Love him. Okay.
Gorgeous.
November of that's right. No, November comes after September.
We're just remembering the months over here.
I'm just remembering. It's fine.
No, sometimes it's important to like mix up the months in your brain so that you remember.
Time is a construct.
Time is a construct, and so sometimes November does come before September.
It's who's to say?
In a way, it's a summer month.
In a way, it could be.
In a way, it could be a summer month.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. So Diana goes on Panorama to talk about Charles' infidelity. This is the interview where she is very candid about her, like people finally get an insight into what the marriage actually was like.
Okay.
Panorama
is a TV show?
Yeah, it's like a journalistic interview show.
Fun.
But this is the journalist procured this interview by like showing that abortion receipt and stuff.
Oh my God. Okay.
So once that was proven, like I believe, I don't know if you can probably find it on YouTube. You can find anything on YouTube. But like it was taken off the air.
Yeah.
Because it was procured under like false circumstances.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, which is like it's like very much like the Marilyn Monroe of it all too. Of like, can we stop using these women for like one moment?
Yeah, that's got to be not the best.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's that. The next year, February 28th, 1996, Diana and Charles agree to fully divorce.
Whoa.
You're not really coming back from talking about your ex on Panorama.
No, you're really not.
Yes.
It's over. Did it ever really begin?
Who's to say? So sometime in 1997, Elton John and Diana have a falling out.
No.
But we're going to get into it.
Okay.
Well, he sings Candle in the Wind at her funeral, so they're going to become friends again.
They make up. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Elton John has I think it's like, I don't know exactly what it's called, but he has a foundation for HIV and AIDS research, care, all these kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
That's like his big charity. And he was releasing in collaboration with Gianni Versace, basically like a coffee table book.
Cool.
Okay. It's called Rock and Royalty. And all of the proceeds from this book go to AIDS research.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay.
I know
Good
that
on
we,
you,
let's
Elton.
also say, like, I think that the correct term is HIV stage 4 now, but like this, there are word for word, this is what they're calling it, AIDS at this point. Also, it's not a dirty word.
Yeah. Have we stopped calling it AIDS?
That's what I've heard, but
really,
I don't know if it's the kind of thing, like sometimes people kind of like soft launch a new term and then collectively as a society, we're like, I think it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine, actually.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I didn't even know we weren't saying AIDS anymore.
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Sound off in the comments if we're still using AIDS.
Are we still saying AIDS?
Yes. So in early 1997, Diana agrees to write an introduction for the book. Okay, because you got Lady Di's signature on this. That's iconic. Everyone loves Lady Di.
Yeah.
But she backs out because like the royal whatever, because she's still like in connection. They're trying to navigate like a royal divorce where the woman doesn't get beheaded on the streets. Never been done before.
Honestly, bring back beheading.
And honestly,
your ex-wife.
they do. You know what I mean? Like they figure it out.
They
get there.
They work it out.
So they're like, okay, you're still part of like the royal whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
I would imagine, I don't remember exactly, and I don't really understand the royal family like terminology that well.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as like when Harry and Meghan weren't leaving fully, and it's like still like royal duty, whatever.
It's
also,
like releasing of royal duties or whatever.
You don't want to, as a royal family, like get Diana off the public. Like everyone loves her.
Well, and yeah, she's bringing so much good publicity to the royals at this point.
And there's like really funny stories, like post engagement, her first like royal tour to Australia. It was like pandemonium. Like people were losing their minds, and they'd do like a parade, and it would be like massive crowds of people.
Whoa.
But then everybody on Charles' side of the crowd would get so fucking pissed. So like,
That's
we would
so
be on Diana's
funny.
side of the front. Why are we not seeing Diana?
We want to. We want to say Diana. No, mate. Don't want to say Diana. No, Charles. Move.
No, Charles.
No, Charles. Bring me goshi, Diana.
So that's probably what it sounded like.
That's probably how they all talk. I'm so sorry if you're Australian. I'm so sorry.
I'm not. Basically, Diana backs out of this because of the naked men.
Yeah.
Okay. But then they reconnect her and Elton John at Gianni Versace's funeral because he gets shot and assassinated. They reconnect.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's where we're ending this episode today because next episode we're going to talk about conspiracy theories and the timeline leading up to Diana's death.
Okay.
So thank you guys so much for listening. This has been a lot of information on Diana, but we're having the time of our lives.
Yeah, we're having an amazing time. Hope you love Diana as much as us.
Yes, and we're going to take a week off, and then we'll see you afterwards.
Okay, amazing.
Take care of yourselves.
Okay, bye.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network.